Sam, buddy, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us on the show. What's happening?
Oh, well, where my band, AEON NEXUS, is releasing our debut EP in 2 days. So that's a thing that's happening. Yeah.
That's pretty damn exciting. And there's
It
stairs.
is.
Let's
Hmm?
see, stairs. There's stairs
Yes, there.
behind you. Yeah.
Yeah. Stairway to, well, it will be heaven when I get a sleep. That's heaven nowadays. It's a good night's sleep.
I know. Is that I was hoping you were gonna go through, you were gonna bounce back on that.
Yeah.
Anyway. So here we But of course, mate, this EP, I've had a sneaky peek. It is phenomenal. It's called Positive Disintegration. Uh
That's right.
October
18th.
18, which is 2 days. That's
It's
right.
Friday.
It is Friday.
Woo!
Yeah, Friday. Woo.
Yes.
Of course, mate, we've had the singles in the lead
Hmm.
up. Everyone's
Yeah.
heard those, but I gotta say, as a piece, as a whole, it is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot. As a first release, it's always scary. It's like, little deer, baby deer on its hind legs taking its first steps, being like, I hope the world's not going to eat me up. That's what it feels like. I mean, it's not like I've never released like I've never been in a band before, never released
Mm.
a piece of like a work before through a band, but no matter what stage of your career you're in when it's a new project, a new band, and it's the first thing, it's like, that the people of the world, followers, don't have anything else to they don't have anything else to judge from. That's the first impression you're creating for anyone who hasn't seen you live. So it's quite nerve-wracking, but so I'm really glad that to hear that was the idea, that all 5 songs flowing is in the set order that they are, is meant to be that full experience for sure.
I will say that baby deer, it's got rocket launchers.
Yes. It's
Got
just like
like big guns on the side. That's what this it's all guns blazing. It's amazing. Because I
thank you.
guess for me, my first experience with those songs wasn't hearing them recorded, it was seeing them live,
Yes.
which is pretty cool because I got to hear those in a different way. I got to see them in a different way, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
I got to
Yeah.
experience, that's the word I'm looking for. I got to experience them in a totally different way. And the way they translate to the recordings is amazing. You've done such a good
Thank you.
job. Yeah, absolutely. But how was that process for you translating them to the recording from that live, setting?
Yeah. Yeah, well, interestingly, so I mean, before actually, pretty much before we had started gigging, at the beginning of this year, we had pretty much everything tracked. So including most of the synths and like the layers of different instrumentation that you do hear on the recorded version. So but there is only so much, I guess, that you can uh convey live when you're starting out. If we had the kind of tech that say bands like Architects have, then sure, you'd be able to hear all of those nuances and they'd be loud and booming in your ears and we'd have a million different lights going and it would be amazing. But we're starting out. So it was always going to be interesting, like trying to, translate those nuances to live. But yeah, I guess, but we still, having said that, for the recorded version, we wanted to make sure, I guess it being metal as well and a bit heavier, harsh vocals and riffs and blast beats and stuff. When it's live, it's about like creating that, starting a circle pit, getting people like, rah, getting people crazy and involved. That's more of the experience. But live is where you can concentrate on the real, sorry, on record is where you can concentrate on the tiny, tiny little details. So, all of those layers of synths, for example, and how they interact, and anything down to, the very particular choices with drum tone, guitar tone, my vocals as well, and I would say importantly the themes. in my lyrics, and how those are also reflected in the musical landscape. Like those, I guess those are all of the things that we wanted to try and be able to show in greater depth on a recorded version. So yeah.
And the EP cover's amazing too. That was done by, was it Ruben? I'm sorry, Ruben. I can't pronounce his
Sorry.
last name, but I'm gonna try. Uh, b Batacaraya. Anyway, visual amnesia, right?
Visual,
That's
just, yeah, visual
that's.
amnesia.
I'm
And I
sorry.
just call, I mean, on email trails, I just called him Ruben anyway. So he's
Okay,
Ruben from visual amnesia. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Um,
buddy. If he's gonna watch this and he's like
sorry, Ruben.
loading up, like I'm gonna find this guy. But yeah, it's incredible. Did you take the concept to Ruben first, or did he hear the music? Did he have creative freedom? Like, how did it work there?
Kind of like all of the above. So I because I had this, this vision for this band and especially this EP, and I wrote all the lyrics. They're all based on my poetry, and then I took some of my poems, synthesized them together, and then created and drew on some of, decided what the theme, the concept of the EP was going to be. And then I wrote this full on, it's like a 6-page EP artwork brief. I had a brief, like a mood boards and like all this detailed breakdown of the theme, which is drawn from one of my favorite psychological theories of the 20th century that is called positive disintegration. So that's where the EP takes its title. So I had like this full like background info about the psychologist who came up with it, and then the theory and how it relates to the themes on the EP. It was like super detailed. And then I created this brief and then went out to artists that we were interested to work with, and scoping out their pricing and stuff like that. And how they resonated with the themes. And Ruben was just like, I mean, we wanted to go to him because we saw Ginger's macro artwork, and
Yeah.
I love that, and I love Ginger, and yeah, he was the artist, so we're like, oh, what have we got to lose? Let's have a chat. Sent him the brief, and then he has this really amazing, intimate process with taking a concept and making an art. So it was fully hand painted, the EP, and
Wow.
then rendered digitally. Yeah. And he says, with every artist I work with, that I want you to actually send me the music, or like what, even if you don't have the fully mastered versions or whatever, just send me the music that this release is. And I don't like to start creating unless I'm actually like I want to immerse myself in the music while I'm painting or drawing, whatever he's doing. Yeah. So like the whole time he was he read through the brief really carefully, resonated with, it seemed like really, really understood the themes that I was trying to convey on quite a deep level, I'd say. And then just applied that process. He was listening to just our demos at the time and just hand painting this beautiful piece. And it's just perfect. Like everything, every tiny little detail on there there's so many Easter eggs that relate directly to some things referenced in the lyrics and even some musical bits. Like it's kind of like there's a lot more than appears at first glance, which is why I love it so much. Yeah.
It is amazing. He's an incredible artist.
Oh, so talented.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Right. And of course, it's coming out on vinyl. It's getting a vinyl release through Trafalgar. I see. I'm really struggling tonight. I apologize to everybody. Traf Trafalgar.
Trafalgar.
Trafalgar. I'm sorry, Simon. That's two things I missed.
That's
Three.
true.
I'm gonna have people knocking at my door
So
with,
many hit lists.
mate. It's like, oh, mate, it's like in Billy Madison when he's like loading up, and I'll be on that list. Anyway, it's coming out and it's gonna look incredible on the vinyl.
It does.
Have you got a copy?
Oh, like with no, I don't. I don't. I just wish I'd brought one down. No, they're all tucked away at Blackened Records at the actual store. Because I guess they're embargoed, well, they're embargoed until Friday. So yeah, yeah. And Trav's he's actually the only one in the band with a vinyl player. So
Oh,
obviously I need to buy myself one. But yeah, we were just like sitting around his finals, the player just listening to it and like, oh my God. Yeah. No, it's so exciting. So yeah, Simon's got all of those at Blackened Records, and we've signed 20 copies. And those ones will be available for sale too through the store. So yeah, like we were so stoked to lock that deal in because, just for a number of reasons. I mean, to have your first release ever out on a vinyl, exclusive vinyl run with a local label is that's a huge win. And just kind of value alignment as well with Simon with Blackened Records. Like I've always been so passionate about supporting the local scene, and the work that I've tried to do and being involved in it as an artist as well. I know how it's a hard slog. And Simon is just so he has that same mindset. He's so focused, like just genuinely invested in local heavy music. He is like the tireless work he does to elevate local artists, to go to shows, to like stock their merch, to spruik local bands, to customers coming in. Like like endless work. It never stops, and he just loves it. And yeah, and I felt very much like, really privileged to be a part of that in this way as well. Like it's just, yeah, I think he's really special. So we're very, very glad that he is pressing our vinyls.
Hey, shout out to Simon. Hey, he's a good
Yeah,
dude. He's a
we
really
do
good
love
dude.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, man, that's amazing. But
Mm.
of course, what was I going to say? So I'm having one of those nights tonight. You got me on one of those nights. That's
No,
right.
I'm just like, that's just it's typical memory. No, you set me off on
Yeah,
one thing, and I'll talk for like 5 hours, and then everyone's like, I just completely lost my train of thought. Okay, you talk again.
that's all right. I've got my notes, but I'll just keep freezing up or saying something stupid. I mean, caveman tonight. Okay, so yeah, that's right. I mean, you've been around the scene for a long time, but this band is obviously fairly new. And I remember when you told me about the band, and I was pretty excited about the project.
Yeah.
So let's give me a quick rundown because I don't think you've told me. You just said it's coming. I was really excited. How did
Um,
how did AEON NEXUS come about?
Well, for many years now, actually, I'd say since like 2019. In 2019, I fell in love with metalcore. I was going through something real bad in my life. And Northlane's album Alien came to me. Like that's still for sure their darkest album. But I listened to it and just I think, obviously whatever Marcus was some things he was going through on that album, but just like the raw emotion of it and the darkness of it, just and the sound, everything that was bleeding through and those harsh vocals. I was like, I want to do this.
Mm.
But then COVID happened, and was really in my head a lot about like, oh, can't do harsh vocals. You were initially training to be an opera singer, like you can only do classical vocals. That's all you can do in metal. But then start of last year, start of 2023, I was like, why am I shooting myself down like this? Why am I limiting myself like this? Might as well just give it a go. You've been saying you want to do a metalcore band for years and years, might as well. And so I got some lessons, and I learned how to scream. And then I just put out around April last year, I put out an ad on one of those Brisbane bands like wanted Facebook groups.
Yep.
I just I filmed myself playing, singing as I do, and doing a bit of screaming, like a 40-second clip. I was just covering some song. And then, a bit of a little blurb about like, this is the kind of band I want to do. This is my experience. I didn't think I'd get that many bites. And I was like, oh no, people are going to judge me for how my harsh vocals sound. But then I was inundated with messages. And that was like, oh, okay. First person I found was Trav. Who he came to me pretty quickly, Trav on the bass. I'd known his work from Carolean. He knew my work in Seraphic. We had one jam together and we were like, yep, this is good. This gels really, really well. Then it all kind of fell together organically. Found Rowan on the drums. He is a huge fan of Sleep Token. and actually was getting lessons with two at the time. Wild. Like this was,
That's crazy.
yeah, I know. I know. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I've been wanting to do a band like this for a while." And he told me about getting lessons at two. Then we jammed, and I was like, "You're a prodigy. Please be in my band." And yeah, and then we found Shannon after a while. Lineup was complete. Started writing together, and yeah, then the rest is history, as they say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Is there more on the way? Have you, I mean, you're about to just release this in 2 days, and I'm like, what's
You're
next?
like,
But
where's more music?
yeah. So, I've got this now. Where's the next three? No. But have you gotten more stuff in the pipeline that, you're ready to move on and write more, or what's happening there?
Yep, absolutely. So, second EP writing is already in the works. I've got the concept for it and everything. Like, I'd say three out of a planned six songs are written. Working on them. And for sure, like, well, one of the songs is fully ready to go. Like, I was, pre-production. We'll be releasing that as the first single in a few months. We have actually played it live a few times. I won't say what it is, but people who have been to a lot of our live shows, when we release it and they hear it, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that one." um, and then yeah, so second EP, like looking to probably be tracking, yeah, early next year, like the first quarter of next year, and then release hopefully in winter next year. Yeah, and keep touring. But yeah, absolutely. Short answer is new music is already happening. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And of course, Seraphic.
Yes.
Yeah. Back
Yeah,
in
you're like, oh,
the
say
day.
that.
Yeah. Like I was, didn't have that on my bingo card, which is cool.
Well, I'm just surprised. Yeah, no. So me is just that Michael and I at this stage, and we'd just been jamming for a while, and we'd obviously both gone off to do different projects, stuff of our own, and we had this thought like, we realized it was coming up to 10 years since I started Seraphic, which
Mm.
says it's actually 10 years this year. We're like, let's commemorate this with something. And we remembered that we'd done way back in the day, we had done an acoustic gig to support, strangely, to support Wednesday 13.
I was there.
You were there, yeah. And we were like, that was actually pretty cool. So we were like, how about we just, as a way of celebrating Seraphic for 10 years, let's take yeah, an EP's worth of our songs, our existing songs, rework them a bit to make them acoustic, but with a little special surprise that instrumentation wise that may not be expected. We did get a session musician in yeah, on the cello. So
Gonna
yeah,
tell me
it's very
who that is right now.
yeah. So his name's Daniel Smurden. He's done a bunch of work. A lot of classical orchestral work, but also he's also an opera singer. Like he's just
Wow.
like he's the classical multi-instrumentalist basically. And Michael found him, because I was like, I want to get a cellist to do this. He's great. We've been working with him since we recorded the EP, and he'll be playing live with us at the launch show.
That's exciting.
So yeah. So it's a lovely sort of intimate stripped back instrumentation. It's just my vocals, and piano, Michael on the acoustic guitar, and some cello.
I didn't
Yeah.
expect you to actually tell me. I thought you were going to be like, now,
No, no,
No,
no.
no, yeah. I was actually joking. But then you told me if you're cool with
I
me
did.
keeping that in.
Yes. Yes, I'm happy for you to keep
Okay,
that in.
excellent, excellent. All right. Well, that's exciting. You got
We're going to reveal it sooner. We've already alluded to it on our socials. Like one of the first photo we posted after a hiatus was a photo of Michael and Dan on the cello. So we're going to be we're going to be revealing it soon anyway. So
And another thing is you step into musical theatre with
yes,
the production of Dr. Faustus. That's
yes.
cool too.
I know. Yeah, no, that was something I didn't foresee. And I have made myself quite busy, I'll admit, but like it's so worth it. It just yeah, it came up. I was down in Melbourne actually for play Aeon's supporting Orpheus for their show, Orpheus Omega. And so I was just, chilling down in Melbourne, and then I got a message from Michelle Orance. Shout out to Michelle. She was like, "Oh, my mate Dave has put this ad out on again, those Facebook groups, they work. He's putting on this sort of goth opera theater production, and he's looking for a soprano that pretty much matches your exact description of experience and the things, kind of music you like to make." And I was like, "Oh, interesting." And yeah, I looked at the ad and I was like, this is great. It's the most unique kind of production you can think of. Yeah, so I ended up, getting the part, which was great. And now we're deep in rehearsals because the show is in a couple of weeks. And it's, oh my God, it's great. Like it's got everything. It's got a bit of opera. It's got Shakespearean poetry and like poems by William Blake as well that have been set to music. It's got the goth tale of Dr. Faustus and a bit of like the witch trials, like all these historical figures, like it's because it's set in that time. It's got a bit of folk, like lovely sort of acoustic folk, and then it's got metal. And there's a couple of songs like full metal, like a bit of thrash, bit of doom. It's great. It's a bit like it sounds like it's just there's a lot going on, but the way Dave, the director, has written everything, how it flows, it takes you on a really like awesome wild ride, and it's just yeah, it's so much fun, really unique. I love it.
That's exciting. And
Yeah.
another thing is the wrestling side of things with the
Yes.
Carnival of Sins event
Yes.
coming up.
Hmm.
How does that come into everything?
Yeah, so that well, because okay, so the first Slamageddon, the first Red Castle Entertainment wrestling show that we ended up on. We were so glad to be um contacted by Karina, one of the promoters for that. Someone who'd seen Aeon's our first ever show in January this year. Her friend saw us at that show and was so impressed apparently that she recommended us. And we got to contact and we were like, what? Fuck yeah, we want to play a wrestling show. That's so sick. And it went so well. Like the attendance for Slamageddon was so great, and we just had so much fun and such a ball. They invited us back. They said, "Yeah, we're green light for the second one. It's going to be on the 9th of November." And we realized, oh, that actually ties in timelines that could be really great for a launch show for the
Yeah.
EP, because we're planning to release it not long before then. Yeah, so now we get to combine all these things for our EP show. There'll be wrestling, there'll be metal, there'll be beers, probably. There'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, like we just thought, why not? Like it lines up really well.
Oh, that's so cool. You've got so much going on. So, of course, when does the sleep happen?
Uh,
When does it doesn't exist right now, does it? It's just
uh, yeah, next question.
next question. Yeah. I know. You got a lot going on. You got a lot going on. But you know what? I'm so stoked for you, my friend.
It's all good stuff. Like it's crazy, but it's like if I've got to fill my life with a bunch of commitments, I feel very privileged and excited that it gets to be like three awesome musical things that are happening. Like, yeah,
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
great.
That creativity going, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mhm.
Well, mate, thanks so much for hanging out on the show. It's so good
Thank
to see
you.
you. Always. Always. I've got so
Yeah.
much love and respect for you. Just not as a vocalist, but as a friend. And, I just wish you nothing but the best, my friend.
Well, likewise, I feel very much the same about you guys and about you. Oh, thanks,
Ah,
man. Stop it.
stop
What?
it. But absolutely, absolutely. And we're going to have all the links down here and on the website and all the stuff. Mate,
Things.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. But until then, when I see you, take care and tell the boys I said hello as well and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I will do that. And we'll catch you at a gig soon.
Yes. Yes.